don't think I realized how bad it was until I got to Seattle during spring break. Callie was a complete fucking mess, and Courtney was in a hotel in LA, and Kurt was in rehab in Southern California, and Callie was using as much as $400 to $500 a day could buy him. He was like, "Don't answer the phone, Courtney calls every 1 or 2 hours." He was only talking to her intermittently because she was calling constantly. There was a real drama, but it was a manipulated situation. It was during the course of Kurt going missing. I think I'd been there for 2 days. The house was empty, no one else except for Callie and me. It was the first time I'd been to the new house. They had some really nice furniture, but it looked like the other house, like they'd never quite moved in. It was a lot bigger, and there were records and knickknacks and stereos in every room, but Callie's room had a terrible vibe from being in it, smoking cigarettes and getting high and making mixtapes every day. At one point I accidentally picked up the phone because I was expecting a call, and it happened to be Courtney. Had I heard from Kurt what was Callie doing, she said get Kurt to call me. Callie was furious with me for taking the call. There was a real bad atmosphere over everything. There was a real vibe of fundamental chaos. It felt like somebody was going to die. The whole time I didn't want to leave because it felt like Callie was going to die. I'd been around people using, but I'd never seen anyone strung out like that. The night before I left, Callie went out for 2 hours to get drugs and hang out with his girlfriend Jennifer Adamson or whatever it was, and I heard somebody in the house, and I thought I saw somebody walk through the hall. I assumed it was Kurt. I went, "Hello? Who the hell is here?" I stood in the doorway, and later I heard something creaking upstairs. After that was when Callie took a note up. I told him that I thought Kurt was here. That was towards the end of my stay. Oh, and at some point Eric showed up at the house because he was going out to the cavern, this other house they had in the woods. He was looking for Kurt, and he was also looking for Kurt's gun, and there was a locked room next to Kurt and Courtney's bedroom, and he was trying to find a key to that room because there was a padlock on it, a big lock. He was looking around the house really urgently, asking us if we'd seen Kurt. That day Callie had to find something in the basement, and he made me come into the basement with him. He was so freaked out because we heard someone in the house, and he thought Kurt might be down there. The house was really cold. There was nothing to eat in the house. There was an air like I wasn't even supposed to have been there. I should have just stayed in Callie's room. Everyone was totally on drugs. Kurt's missing, or they think he has the gun, and he's missing. I vaguely remember Callie thinking that maybe Kurt would show up at their dealers. He wanted to find Kurt. Right around that time was when Courtney canceled all of Kurt's credit cards, and that included Callie's credit card, so he couldn't get drugs, and he started to freak out. He was supposed to buy me a plane ticket home, and all of a sudden he couldn't, and I was panicking. I had to call my dad and say, "I can't tell you the situation, but it's really bad, and I have to get out of here, and I need a $600 plane ticket the next day." Last morning I was there, Tuesday, April 5th, although it might have been the Monday, right about 6:37 a.m. I woke up and Kurt was standing next to the bed. He was like, "Hi, totally normal." I talked to him for a few minutes, and he made a joke about my head. It was shaved at the time, so he made a joke, something to do with that Unrest song, Skinhead Girl. Pally woke up, and we told Kurt, "You've got to call Courtney. She's freaking out. You have to call her." We gave him the number in some little address book, and he sat towards the end of the bed and tried to call, but they wouldn't put him through the room. Kurt had forgotten the assumed name his wife was staying under. He was trying to do that for a while, and I fell back asleep. I woke up maybe an hour later, and he was sitting at the foot of the bed, looking at a copy of Puncture magazine. I said something like, "Did you get through to Courtney?" And he said no. The TV was on. It was a Meat Puppets video on MTV. I don't think he said anything about it. He was just watching. I don't remember him being dressed like he'd been out, although it was probably warm enough that you could be out with just a sweater, but I got the impression he'd just gotten there, like he just walked in. He was casual. He didn't seem more high or sedated than normal. He seemed normal, and he was being jovial with me. I hadn't seen him since New Year's, so then I fell back asleep and he was gone. I woke up, and a few hours later, Callie had called a limo service to take me to the airport. That might have been around 11 a.m. I got up. I'd been eating Diet Coke and bananas for days. I'd been sick while I was there, and I remember